awesome coastline, Jace. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I know, and it's so important that we really cherish what we've got.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's really no better way to explore the area than on a pushy. There's plenty to see in Coffs, but we're on our way to check out something pretty cool. It's awesome, isn't it? It's right in the middle of town.
Fantastic.
Community gardens are on the rise right around the country, and Coffs has a cracker.
They're doing a good job here, Jace.
I know, I love community gardens. They're probably in every suburb in Australia these days. The best thing about it is gardeners who don't know much can learn from gardeners who do.
That's a mango. Mango!
Morning.
The rabbits will be fed well today. Yes.
So, loaded up with inspiration, Adam and I are heading back to Bunnings to work on our garden. So we've got to start on our very own space.
In fact, 5 separate areas that are going to blow you away.
Best thing about this, it's full of ideas you can do at home, and they're based on being sustainable.
And for the chill-out area, Jace, I'm thinking of trying something a little bit different. Instead of a man cave,
Yeah.
a she shed. What do you think?
Do you reckon you can do it?
Well, look, I can definitely create the area, but I'm thinking of calling Joe in to bring the feminine touch.
Feminine touch.
Now, this is a flat-pack pergola. It's great because you don't have to worry about all those silly angles, and it comes with the posts and the roof. To enclose the sides, I'm just making a standard frame, as you would on a house. It's got a top and bottom plate with studs and noggins. Then you slip it in place, screw it off. And I'm using an external ply to clad the outside.
Now, being your typical Aussie bloke, I don't pretend to know what women want, but when it comes to the garden, I've got a little bit of an idea. So I've got 2 different styles of plants. There's pretty ones. I mean, what else would you put around a she shed but blushing bride? And osmanthus, because it smells sweet. But we've got loads of useful plants too, and by that, I mean herbs. But the one I like the most is this little camellia. Now, it's Camellia sinensis. It's what most of our teas are made of. It wants to get to about 3 metres, but if you keep it at about eye height, it's nice and easy to pick. You want to get the newest, freshest leaves. Crush them up in your hand, dry them out, put them in an airtight bag, and you'll never have to buy an English breakfast again.
Jace, how good's this looking?
It's great. I've got in touch with my feminine side. I've enjoyed it.
You definitely have. It's so beautiful. Do you want to give us a hand now that I've given you a compliment?
Do something blokey.
All
Sure.
right, let's get the water tank in place.
I know they're big and bulky, but hidden away in the garden, they're very practical.
That's it. You just hook your downpipe up to it and it gives you the water to fuel your garden. Oh, it's heavy. Now, this is starting to feel like a nice private area.
Looking good, Ads.
Hey, fantastic, isn't it, Jay?
It's his little she shed.
Oh, listen to you.
It is, but I was hoping you were going to bring the she to the shed.
Oh, I can definitely make this a little bit more feminine.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to go man up and help Jason in the garden.
Yeah, go on, get some of the testosterone out
Play
there.
with flowers.
That's it, mate. Where's the pansies?
I'll give you a pansy.
Now, Adam has done a great job with this she shed, although at the moment, it's all a little bit stark and hard. So what I'm going to do is give it a quick lick of paint. In fact, white paint. This one's called white on white. Give it a really fresh little look, and then got a few other little tricks.
I grew up with heaps of Italians that knew all about herbs and veggies.
Well, I tell you what, I know one thing. It's not a garden unless it's got the herbs and veggies in it.
What do you call this one?
Oh, that's parsley, isn't it?
It's mint, mate. Mint.
Same, but different, Jace. A sauce you can't
More
go
plants,
wrong.
let's talk.
OK, all right.
And we've gone for a soft grey on the outside called Littleton. And inside, we're doing a feature wall with the colour Sage Monica. Now, this is where the softening starts to happen. It is such a beautiful colour. So what else do you need in a she shed? I was thinking maybe like a workbench. I've got a really simple idea on how to make one. We're going to stack these terracotta hexagons, and basically it's going to look like 2 slices of honeycomb, and then on the top, a painted sleeper. Why have 1 teapot when you can have 6?
That is gorgeous in there.
If you're well behaved, you might even get an invite.
Oh, look out.
What about this for a finishing touch, boys?
That's exactly what I was going to do. Not.
It's definitely not manly, so I think you've done the right thing.
Listen. this is all a bit pleasant.
It is very nice, Joe. And in your cheat sheet...
Oh, I love it.
Sir.
Hello.
Welcome to Hotel Hodges.
The world is exactly as it should be.
Okay.
Yes, please. You can take the boy out of the garden, but really...
This is first class. Oh, there we go.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hodgie.
That's it. And this area is for the kids. It's a spot where they can grow their own veggies and play. So I'm going to be building a little workbench here. Now, Jace, do you like a surprise?
I love a surprise.
You might get a little mud cake later on.
Chocolate. But first, there's shopping to be done.
Where to first, mate?
Well, I want to get some tools for the kids, something they're really going to have fun with. Oh, look, and they make them in your size as well. You can... back scratcher.
Hey, how cool is this? A kid's wheelbarrow.
Oh, I'm grabbing that. Hey, Ad.
Oh.
Why have chicken coops got 2 doors?
Why?
Because if they had 4, they'd be a sedan.
Oh, Jace. How cool are they?
Awesome. Need a pump for the aquaponics. Ah, the AP4800F. Sounds good. Hey, Ad.
Hey.
Finished?
Yeah, mate, back to building gardens for the kiddies.
Don't see ingredients there for mud cakes.
No, you'll be surprised, Jace.
That I will.
Who doesn't like playing with mud when you're a child? I know I did. So I'm making a mud bar, which is basically a low table with a sink in it, so the kids can bring water and dirt to the table and make glorious mud. I'm making 3 identical frames, and they'll all be held together by rails. And it's much easier to paint the frame before you put the top and the back on. For the top, I'm just using some form ply and I've painted the edges. And I'll have 2 holes in it, one for the sink and one for the waste. And for the back, it's just a couple of pieces of fence paling. You like?
I like this a lot.
Very nice, isn't it?
I think I can trick this up a bit. I've got some ideas.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing it, Jay.
All right. Now we're going to make up a little sign for our mud bar. We've just got a couple of palings on a few support posts, and we're going to give it a bit of a charcoal wash, which is basically just your watered-down paint. We're going for an outdoor weathered look, so slap on the paint and then rub it back with a cloth. And then I can write the names. Now, take me back to school. I've got to try and do this neatly. And then I'm actually just going to hot glue gun on some rope to make the sign. It means it'll last in any weather. All right, time to mount our sign. Ta-da! If you're going to make mud pies, clearly you need to have all the gear.
How cool are these? They just put a smile on your face with the colour. Now, they're called birdies, kids' planters. As far as putting it together, well, if you can tighten a nut and a screw, you can do this. The edges are rolled, but it's relatively safe, but there are a few points where it could be a bit touchy for kids. So there's this rubber edge to go over it, bit of soil, and we're ready to plant.
All right, Shani and Tali, how many times does Mum tell you to keep things clean?
A lot.
Well, like what? What sort of things?
Our kitchen, the lounge room, our bedroom.
And the bedrooms? What if I tell you you can make as much mess as you want today?
Yes, that sounds good. Yeah.
Dig in, go.
Awesome.
So our mud bar is open and on the menu, mud pies. Just hope Jason knows the difference between a mud pie and a mud cake.
For a little planter, you can get a lot in here. Now, what I've got are some classics that kids love. Tomatoes in the middle, the little cherry ones, so they get hundreds and hundreds of them. I eat them like strawberries at home. Around the base, I've got basil, I've got silver beet, tons of colour. I've got beans over here, the little bushy ones that don't need staking. And I reckon every kid I've ever met enjoys growing carrots. Good idea if you're planting a herb or a veggie garden to think about what lasts and how long they last. Like I've got the strawberries underneath the grapefruit because I won't have to disturb them for 3 or 4 years. Then in this one, I've got parsley and basil, kale. They might last a whole year. And the seedlings, well, I might change them up every quarter. So rather than disturbing everything, I can just disturb this little one.
Mate, this is looking fantastic. There's parsley everywhere.
I suppose this is a ground cover parsley, is it?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey.
Hello, girls.
Hey, boys, look what I made for you.
Wow.
You've got to eat it. We made it especially for you. It's a caramel martini recipe.
that is mud, mate.
High five, girls. That's a very successful mud fight.
Boys, now it's done.
Meet our little mates. This is Coughs and that one there's Harbour. Now, if you're going to have chickens, they're family pets. So you want them to be as house proud as we are.
And if they're healthy and happy, they'll look after the garden and feed your family.
I reckon we should get Ed to mind these.
Nah, mate, we'll give them to Harry. He can teach me how to hold them. So let's get building. Coughs and Harbour are home.
Mate, this is valuable real estate.
Mate, it is huge.
Downstairs is all about entertaining and dining. But upstairs, this is where the magic happens. It's where they can sleep, roost, lay eggs.
Yep.
Yes, it lacks a bit of privacy because we have access. But what I think we really need is outdoor entertaining and dining. I'm thinking a chook run.
Beautiful.
Something around here, neat and tidy so this doesn't get messy, and in here does.
Mate, I've got just that thing in mind.
Beautiful.
Leave it to me. And these are the frames for the chicken run. You want it to go from the coop to the compost. So I'm making a standard frame and then painting it black. And now it's on with the mesh. And once that's done, you can repeat that process for however long your chicken run is. And then it's a matter of just bringing it in and screwing it all together. So the chooks leave their home, they're out in the yard, they come running down the race, and they get to here, and then what happens, Jace?
5-star dining for chooks. They can come in here, eat all the scraps from the kitchen. This is an awesome compost because they can come in here and knock it over really quick and turn it out so you can use it in the garden. When you've got too much in here, you close that restaurant, you move next door, and you open up a new one. Unfortunately, it's the same cuisine. Chickens don't like hard surfaces like concrete. Their full-time job is to peck, so they want to go around and mess it up.
That's it, mate. And for the top, I was thinking, Jace, of making a seat.
Yeah, sweet. Why don't you break it up a bit? Seat, garden bed, something like that.
A couple of planter boxes.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
It's like a resort.
You all right, mate? What are you putting in these?
I reckon a few more herbs and a few more veggies because they're going to get fed a lot.
Yeah.
And some flowers to make it look pretty.
Beautiful. With the planter boxes in, I'm using the same sleepers to make my bench seat. And just like the planter boxes, I'm going to use 3 cleats to hold it all together. Hey, Jace, can you give us a hand and put this seat in?
Sure, mate.
Thanks, bud. Look at that. You could lay on this.
Yeah, well, you could, or I could finish that box and you can lay some more parsley.
I'll get the turf down.
He knows I'm joking when I say parsley, doesn't he? I've never done a review with a chicken. No peeking. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Ta-da! I'm not saying much.
What did you say when you won your house makeover?
This is unbelievable.
This is unbelievable. Oh, I did say.
All right, let's go.
All right, mate, we'll enjoy.
Oh, have fun. Right, they're running.
Have they laid eggs yet?
Hey guys,
Hello.
this looks amazing.
That's good, isn't it?
Can you build me one from my backyard?
That's it.
Hey, I'm going to put up my mural just on the back wall here. What do you think?
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
Good?
Looks nice, yeah.
Might need some help though.
Well, I reckon a little nail gun will do the trick.
Perfect.
I'll give you a hand.
Let's go.
3's a crowd.
All right, Debbie, now to put these on is very easy.
Yep.
First, safety.
Oh.
So there's some goggles.
Yep.
Now, we're starting with this one.
Yep.
It's a matter of just holding it in position, and then we get our fixing gun, and just in the centre, push in and pull the trigger.
Oh.
How easy is that?
Too easy.
You reckon you can do that?
Yeah.
It is very easy. I've got all the confidence in the world.
Thank you. I need all
I
the
hope.
confidence I can get.
There you
Thank
go. You'll
you.
be fine.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Oh, that's heavy. Okay. Okay, 2 down, just 1,198 to go.
And then there's this area. This is the aquaponics. Now, it's going to be a good-looking water feature, some nice plants and some parsley on the ground here. But to get aquaponics right, takes a little bit of tweaking. Once it's good for life. Can you look after the parsley for me?
Sure can, mate. I'll get the ward.
Here's aquaponics in a nutshell. We have a beautiful pond full of goldfish. They do their business and muddy up the water. We pump the water with a stock standard pump into this trough, which could be a water feature, but we're going to plant it out. Now, the water that goes in there is full of beautiful nutrients. These plants thrive, absorb those nutrients, and put fresh water back into the goldfish. happy goldfish, happy plants, happy garden. All I've got to do is put this in place. We can start planting and fill it with water. And to get the water back into the pond, I'm putting in a bell siphon to control the flow. And this is just a bit of a guard. It goes over the top. It's twice the size of the bell siphon. It means you can get your hands in there, take this out to rinse it, but it's not going to get choked up with the roots from the plants or your growing media.
Watch out! Ooh!
My brakes don't work, and you should give way to seniors.
Oh, I could have hurt the senior then.
And this is what we're planting in. It's scurria. You normally put it down as a mulch. Now, there's no nutrients in there, no clay, no sand, no soil, but the plants will get their nutrients from the water. So this just helps them stand up.
Tell you what, Jace, I'm getting pretty good at laying this parsley.
Yep. It is such a weird sensation planting into gravel and knocking the soil off the root system, but it works. The water with the fish #1s and 2s in it will be enough for these plants to thrive. And Adam, this is parsley. And while this garden's all about the water, the next one is the exact opposite.
OK, Jace, I think this last garden would have to be the smartest of all because it doesn't need much water, so it practically looks after itself.
Exactly. Now, when I was a kid, drought tolerant was usually just cactuses, but there's a whole range of plants that can make it look succulent and beautiful. It doesn't have to look like the desert. Now, mate, I want a scene setter, a bit of a sculpture, something that screams Australiana.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I've got the perfect thing in mind.
Nice.
To me, nothing says drought-tolerant garden more than the little Aussie windmill. I can picture it spinning in the middle of the outback right now. And to make it, I'm just knocking up 2 A-frames, and then it's a matter of cladding the box. And once I've made the 2 A-frames, I'm using exactly the same timber as I did on the sides to join the 2 A-frames together. Look at that. It's all coming together. To hold the stem in place, I've just made a hole in the top. So that will sit there like this. And then I've got a bottom part that will lock everything in. Stem slides through. Look at that, almost there. Now to make the blades, I've just got some plywood and some dowel. I've cut a slot in the dowel and then you glue and just use a brad to hold it in place. So you end up with 8 of these. Once they're done, I've got the hob with all the holes in it, and you want to glue your blades into the holes. And for the vane, it's exactly the same as the blades, but just a little bit bigger. And to give it that aged look, I've got a rust effect paint to finish it all off.
One of the best places to get inspiration for drought-tolerant plants is in our own backyard because native plants are used to our harsh conditions and there's nothing prettier than kangaroo paw. Now, I've got a selection here. I've got ones that are pretty much black and they've got nice red stems. Ones that got orange tinges and yellow ones. I could plant them in mass and get big bulks of colour, or I can mingle them all together and get that splattered effect on the ground. Splattered we'll go with. And out of all the plants we've put in, this is the one that probably looks the most like a drought-tolerant plant because it looks a bit cactusy. It's aloe, and the reason why it can survive is, I accidentally broke this off, but look at all that moisture that's in the leaves. It's like a reservoir or a dam keeping the plant alive. That looks perfect.
It's cool, eh?
You know what I like about all these gardens? Like, our grandparents would have done this because they had to, you know, grow fruit and veg to provide for the family. The chickens so they get the eggs and feed the garden.
That's it. But now we do it because we want to know where our food came from and we want to look after our family.
And what I really like is you can do all this and it's still a very good-looking backyard.
It sure is. If you want somewhere to kick back and relax, or for the kids to go nuts.
Maybe you just want to rest your eye on something pretty.
Or maybe it's the chance to wander out and pick something fresh for dinner.
You can even have a backyard that's both a recycler and a producer.
So no matter what a garden means to you, there's ideas here
that you can take home to your place.